Are your birds 30 days but they are growing very slowly? They are not adding on the body, they are dying, or actually they are not yet ready yet? You've already completed the 30 days. In today's video, I'm answering the question that is being asked: why your broilers are already 30 days and they are not adding on the weight. Okay, so they are feeding but they are not actually adding on the body weight. So in today's video, I'm answering the 7 points which always affect broiler farmers. They affect their birds not to grow very well. So if you're the one, please just watch this video up to the end. Point number 1 is poor quality chicks. So many times when you buy chicks from untrusted hatcheries, what happens is the tears which you shed normally when the birds are supposed to be sold out, but they are not ready, or they have not added the body, or they are underweight. So the consequences which come from buying from untrusted sources the chicks are a bit painful. So the thing that you have to do is always make sure that you buy chicks from a trusted supplier, okay, or a trusted hatcheries, okay. Then the other thing which happens is transport stress, okay. Transport stress. When you buy quality chicks, okay, and you transport them well, you are going to have very nice birds. But if you get poor chicks and then you even transport them in a long journey, the birds will reach and they cannot actually perform at your farm. So make sure that you get chicks from your nearby sources and the right quality chicks. In doing that, you are going to be having birds which grow very fast and they are going to give you back very well, okay. When you buy the birds, ensure chicks are active, bright-eyed, and they have the uniform size in the boxes. Some people they are shy to actually check the chicks in the boxes, but remember that is your money which you're investing. So make sure that you check the boxes before you leave the place where you're buying the chicks. The chicks should be active. If they are not active, you have a right to reject. Okay, they change for you or they refund back your money. Okay, then make sure that when you're transporting the chicks, let them be in a well ventilated box so that the chicks reach when they are safe. Okay, reason number 2 as to why your broilers grow slowly is wrong feeding program. Some people have a very wrong feeding program in the way that they feed the birds with poor feeds, and those feeds they start actually giving the birds a kind of stress, and once birds are stressed, it is going to be affected with their growth. Okay, for example, if you get your birds and then you start giving them grower feeds at week 1, that is automatically the birds will not grow, because those feeds lack a good protein content. Always when you're buying feeds for your birds, make sure that you have the feeds which have the feeds should have the protein content which is 22 to 24%. Okay, always check those feeds have that content. So if they don't have, you have a right to buy another one. Those are the common mistakes which people do, giving grower pellets. Now, when you're to give grower pellet, you have to give them when the birds are 2 weeks old. Okay, if you give them at week 1, the birds are not going to grow. Okay, they are not going to grow. So make sure that you give them the correct feeding. Okay, so also underfeeding to reduce on the cost. Some people have that system that we want to cut costs, so you underfeed the birds and the birds don't perform. Stop underfeeding. Broilers, for them to grow, they have to have food day and night. Okay, mostly the first 30 days. Okay, so if you want to have a product within 30 days ready, weighing between 1.5 to 1.8 kgs, you have to make sure that food is there 24/7. So from day 1 to day 14, you have to give them what they call starter pellets. Okay, so starter pellets is the feeds we give for the first 14 days. Then from 15 to 28 days, that's when you introduce what they call grower pellets or grower feeds. Okay, some people give them the grower feeds, which is mixed with maize and concentrate. Okay, so others, they just buy already processed food, that is the grower pellets. Then from day 29 to sell, you give what they call the finisher feeds. Okay, so when you give the finisher feeds, you can give until when you sell. Okay, that is the feeding program which will help you have broilers which grow so fast. Okay, always ensure clean water is available 24/7 for your birds. Okay, so if you give good feeds and you're giving dirty water, it will also affect the growth. How? The sickness will come in, and then when sickness come in, they become stunt in growing. Okay, so point number 3 is dirty or insufficient water. When you have dirty water or insufficient water, you are going to damage the birds. Okay, that's the point I was trying to bring in. It's going to damage the birds. So if the water is dirty, or it is warm, or not enough, the growth will actually be very slow. Okay, so the solution to this, or what you need to do, is always make sure that you give your birds quality and clean water. Okay, give them clean water. Always clean your drinkers daily. Don't even have any substitute on that. Clean the drinkers daily. Provide clean, cool water always. Okay, and always make sure that one drinker sustains 50 chicks. Okay, some people they overcrowd the chicks, and the feeders are very few, and the drinkers. So make sure that you have the drinkers which are enough for your birds. So for us here, we do 50 birds per drinker, 50 birds per drinker. So you multiply how many chicks you have, birds you have, and then you give them the right drinkers. Then the 4th one is poor brooding temperature. Some of you people, you actually don't know what to do, but you even don't buy the temperature thermometer. So if you a beginner, most especially, make sure that you buy the thermometer. It will guide you, because we have the temperature levels when you're brooding. For example, the right temperature or the correct brooding temperature is from day 1 to day 7. We have to make sure that the temperature levels are 32 to 34 degrees Celsius. Okay, then from day 8, you keep reducing at least 2 to 3 degrees until the birds get to understand, or they get used to the normal temperature. Okay, so the signs that shows that you are actually having a wrong temperature is: 1, chicks will overcrowd. When you see chicks crowding together, it is a sign that your temperature is very cold. 2, if you see chicks are running away from your source of heat, then it is indicating that the temperature is very hot. So make sure that you have a thermometer. It will help you track the heat, so that the birds will enjoy the room where you're brooding from. So make sure that you buy a thermometer. If you cannot buy a thermometer, then hire an expert to brood for you. Okay, so the other one is the reason number 5, which makes broilers grow slowly, is disease and poor vaccination. Some people have a tendency of not vaccinating their birds, but it is going to cost you when you want to sell the birds. They will delay to grow, and then you start crying. Then the common diseases that we always vaccinate from is Newcastle, Gumboro, coccidiosis, CRD. Those are the things we always do vaccinate our birds from. So you give them the antivirus so that the birds may actually be good. So the solution to this is follow the proper vaccination schedule. Okay, follow the proper vaccination schedule. Where you buy your chicks, they always give you a vaccination chart, so use it very well. Then give the birds clean water to prevent coccidiosis. Then your house, when the chicks are coming, disinfect the house very well. Don't start gambling. Disinfect the room like for 2 times clean, disinfect, then after 1 week, disinfect and leave the room to rest. Normally, it is good if the house like this to be ready, you have to at least leave it for 2 weeks to aerate before another batch comes in. Okay, so you disinfect and allow it to rest. In doing that, you're going to be allowing any infection which is there, it will actually crash down. The sixth one is poor housing and overcrowding. These are things which you have to know. Okay, overcrowding causes stress, it causes heat, it causes competition during feeding. You get, when your birds are eating, they will start competing because they are overcrowded. Okay, so the correct stocking density is 10 birds per square meter. Okay, make 10 birds per square meter. Ensure good ventilation. Let there be dry litter and proper spacing. Okay, so when you do proper spacing, you're going to find that the birds are going to be enjoying the place and they will grow very fast. Sometimes there is a system which broiler farmers say that when you give broilers space, they will do exercise and they will cut weight. That is very wrong. These birds, they need enough space such that they do what? They do add the body very well when there is enough space. But if there is no space, the birds are going to just be stressed. Okay, so the last one and the most sensitive one is wrong use of drugs and supplements. Some people apply or they just cram a medication and then they start applying it every time wrongly. Okay, so too many drugs will damage the gut health. Okay, it will damage the gut health, it will reduce the feed conversion. Okay, so when it affects the gut health, the chick will actually die and will not actually grow very well. Okay, so the solution to it, use drugs only when necessary. Okay, and then provide vitamins after stress or vaccination. Don't just give, don't enjoy. Okay, just medicate when the birds are actually sick and seek a vet advice. Okay, so if you have the stressed birds, give them the multivitamins. If they are after vaccination, give them the medicine, the multivitamin. In doing that, you're going to be using very well the drugs. But if you use it wrongly, they will affect the growth of your birds. Okay, so my bonus tip for you people is give multivitamins weekly to your birds. Okay, weekly, like after 1 week you give them, because multivitamins, they just give them the energy and that vibe to eat well, enjoy the place, and then provide enough feeders and drinkers. Don't limit, don't squeeze feeders. Let the birds freely enjoy the food and let all of them access the feeders at the same time, because when they access the feeders at the same time, they are going to grow in a uniform style. Then maintain strict hygiene, use quality feeds only. Okay, yeah, so if your broilers have been growing slowly, check these 7 mistakes. Okay, and correct them immediately. You get the point. So check these points and you correct wherever you were not going well. Yeah, and if this video helped you, please like, share and subscribe to the channel so that we may grow together and YouTube may recommend it to other people. Okay, subscribe to the channel for more farming knowledge. For training, consultation, please, or you want chicks, call us or WhatsApp us on 0775 312536. You will reach directly to me. So thank you so much. Catch you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.